It is the last place any mother should be.
Okay.
Standing in a cemetery, alone, with her youngest child.
I think about what she would have been and how many lives of people that she touched for the good.
9 years have come and gone since Vera Dedmon was forced to make her first trip here.
I just wish I didn't have to come for her.
9 years later, to know grief is to see it on the face of this 74-year-old woman.
And to think of how pretty she is and what she could have become.
1 month shy of her 1-year anniversary with Metro Police, Christy Jo Dedmon pulled to the side of I-40, lights flashing to help a stranded motorist in the middle of the day. To this day, officials believe the semi-truck driver who slammed into her did not so much as tap on his brakes.
18 days before that, the move-over law came into effect.
Hard as it is for her to admit, Vera knows unless something changes, it will happen again.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter because these people are out there and the motorists, a lot of them are not paying any attention to them.
And sadly, she's right.
Yes. Yep. I was on the right shoulder, good 8 feet off the interstate, and a guy crossed 2 lanes to come over and hit me. I was parked with my lights on.
As a TDOT help truck operator,
I was back in service on that one.
Carl Wright's job is to keep Tennessee's highways moving.
He's out of gas, getting his own gas in there.
He's not a police officer.
I've got a pickup truck.
But he knows that the law clearly states drivers must move over or slow down for emergency vehicles like his.
You run out of gas?
And yet every day,
Wait, there's not much room to pull this rig over, is there?
at every call he responds to, like this camper out of gas, Carl's office is just inches wide.
Our lives are in people's hands that are driving by. You don't know on a normal basis who is driving by.
Since records started being kept on these things in 2005, 323 first responders were hit out on the roads. Like this Franklin police officer in September.
1081 40 westbound 222. It's sad it's gotten to a point you expect people not to move over.
James Christensen is a patrol officer with the Mount Juliet Police Department.
We are going to look for motorists not moving over.
We rode along with him last week to see how often this happens. First, one officer pulls a car over for speeding on I-40. James sits behind him, lights flashing to provide protection. Not 2 minutes pass by before 2 drivers fly by with no attempt at slowing down or moving over.
You know why I'm stopping you, sir? No? You failed to move over to the left when you passed the emergency vehicle that was on the right side of the roadway.
This driver's excuse:
Is that lettuce?
he was eating McDonald's, a burger that could have cost him $500 in fines, or worse, an officer's life.
They're just not paying attention. They're either eating or texting or just, I'm not sure if they're looking at their phone or what, but they're just not paying attention.
She used to tell me, Mom, I know you don't want me to be a police officer, but I love that. And she was right. But, I live with the thought that that's what she wanted.
Having now lost her husband in the years since her daughter's death,
She missed saying goodbye to her daddy. But he had to say goodbye to her.
Vera is left to wonder why the fine for breaking the move-over law is the same as littering.
Is throwing a piece of trash on the road and getting $500 fine, is that better than a $500 fine to kill somebody?
It is the last place any mother should be. And yet she's here every month, all because one driver didn't change lanes.
Her ambition was to make a difference. Just to make somebody happy, make a difference in somebody's life.
Chris Conti, News Channel 5 HD.
You don't get a second chance. If the gentleman that hit Michael had a second chance, I'm sure he would do something different. A part of you is gone. So it's been tough, and it's going to be tough for a long time.
He is only the second Metro officer to die in the line of duty in the last decade. And tonight, for the very first time, Officer Michael Petrina's family is speaking out. Petrina was hit and killed in May while working an accident on the side of I-65.
But he is not the first person to be hit or even killed. Tonight, News Channel 5's Chris Conti and photojournalist Angie Dones take a closer look at why a law meant to save lives is not working.
21.
They swear oaths
Good boy.
to serve and to protect.
Ready to go to work?
And on Nashville's night to shine,
The CMA Awards.
Officer Brent Hoadley was doing just that.
Carrie Underwood just got back in that Tahoe.
Brent's is a name that may not sound familiar,
Of course, the rain's keeping a lot of people away, but we're just here for any crowd control issues.
but his is a story repeated too many times in too many different ways.
They get mud packed in after being out in the rain.
Chance brought Brent here, partnered with a 14-year-old walking horse named Bear in Metro's Mounted Patrol.
I went up and over the car. He didn't, run over me.
January 7th, 2012, 5:30 a.m. Brent was providing protection to first responders at a crash on Murfreesboro Road when a driver slammed into him.
Who's to say why, it could have been very different for me too, but I just somehow got lucky. That's all it is, was luck.
Brent says that knowing full well that he is right.
May the 10th, 6 months ago yesterday.
Officer Michael Petrina was 25 years old.
And I can tell you that I wasn't home. My wife was home. So she had to open the door to the police by herself. But she knew what it was.
Jim Petrina is Michael's dad. He lives just outside of Memphis.
He grew up in this house.
Yes, he basically grew up in this house.
From an early age, Jim says his son was incredibly service-oriented, enlisting in the National Guard and eventually graduating from Metro's Police Academy.
You always want your kids to be happy whatever they're doing and wherever they are. And so he was truly happy.
It was a dream Michael was able to live out for 8 months.
He hit the T-Dot truck, and then he hit Michael. And it was instant for Michael, which is a blessing.
Much like Brent Hoadley, Officer Petrina was assisting at a crash on I-65 earlier this year. Officials say the driver of an RV from Florida didn't change lanes. First, he broke the move over law. Then, he broke Jim Petrina's heart.
Absolutely. Every day, every morning, when normally I would talk to him or text, that's when I missed him the most.
Michael is the 326th person to be hit while working Tennessee's roadways since 2005.
What do you think should be done?
I think the man was in the wrong, and he should be prosecuted for what he did. I lost a son.
Jim has never sat down in front of a television camera until now.
He made us better through example, and that's how he was. So I'm trying to live up to his example.
What do you think will change this?
More publicity. Hopefully it's not more of what my wife and I are going through and my son, because it's devastating.
Ready to go to work? Come on. I've had a lot of trauma to my mouth. Total of 9 teeth were knocked out.
Whether it's enforcement or a higher fine or just publicity that will change things, both Brent Hoadley and Jim Petrina say something has to be done.
If the guy that hits me gets found guilty, his maximum fine is $500 and his license will be revoked for 6 months. So, no, it's definitely not enough.
South Precinct Officer Michael Petrina is 10-7 for the remainder.
They swear oaths to serve and to protect us.
So I salute you, brother. You have earned your place amongst the guardian angels.
But is anyone protecting them?
He was doing what he wanted to do, and he always knew that risk.
Officer Petrina, we honor you for the ultimate sacrifice.
A grand jury is currently considering charges against the driver who hit Officer Petrina. Petrina's family wants people to remember that if you can't move over for emergency vehicles, at least try to slow down.